concerns about teens and social media use rise in homes across the U.S., but a new study shows we may not need to worry so much. WIFR reporter Alyssa Kelly dives into the research, which shows the interactions on social media may be a mood booster.
On something that I spend a little bit too much time on.
95% of all teens use social media, but many question the impact, positive or negative, all that screen time has on the mental health of the young people in our communities.
With things like TikTok or Instagram, like it can be an addiction.
I was in the Army and it gave me a chance to call my family and friends.
New research from UW School of Medicine and Public Health shows smartphones may actually help teens feel better.
At least in the moment, smartphone use can have a positive effect on adolescents. It can have this sort of mood management effect.
But research associate Matt Minnick says that benefit seems to be short-term.
Where we found the biggest effect was actually listening to music or audiobooks. That had the biggest mood boosting effect.
And he says we may only be touching the surface of what social media will and won't do for our children.
This study really drives home how complex the reality of this situation is. We're often told that phone use is bad. There's more and more evidence that that's just not really always the case.
Like things like Spotify and listening to podcasts or relating to people really does help me a lot and is super beneficial for me.
In Rockford, Alyssa Kelly, WIFR News.
Researchers say a lot of information about kids and smartphones is based on surveys and may not always be accurate.